Welcome to Podtendo's Top 10 list. Listen to the show, we'll explain it. I can't explain it during the opening. Enjoy! Hey guys, welcome to No, we're not the Legend of Zelda, we're Podtendo. Welcome to Podtendo's Top 10 Legend of Zelda games. So in honor of our 10th anniversary, which was last year, we did... Wait a second. Oh, I see. Hey, we're in our 11th season. Hooray, our last show was the end of our 10th season. We're into our 11th year of doing podcasts. See? I didn't forget. I remembered.
Wow.
Huh? So in honor of that, completing 10 years, we're going to celebrate two things today. We're going to celebrate Podtendo for being 10 full, complete years of podcasting every 2 weeks in your lives. We've played so many video games. We're cool. And Legend of Zelda, which has been our lives for 40 years. It's also pretty cool. So we're going to do both those things, celebrate them today, and give you a big Legend of Zelda retrospective by talking about at least the 10 best games from this series, based on our opinions. But they just are.
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet. So with that, what else would I say? Finish the Twilight Princess.
Did you introduce yourself? You're Mick. I'm Tyson.
Yeah, that works. Mick. He's Tyson, just like you said. That's kind of it. I don't know. How else do top 10s work? We give a little bit of a rebuttal. Typically, I rank them on how fun they are. That's usually like, right now, do I want to play these games? If I did, this is how I'd rank them. I will tell you my explanation of why they're ranked 1 through 10. When we run through our list, we'll be starting at 10, working our way towards 1, because otherwise it'd be just absolutely insanity. And let's do it. Without further ado, let's get into talking about this game series that we love, that's been with us, that has tons of different options. Top 10 Zelda games. Baby. Let's start out with Tyson at number 10. What is your 10th favorite Zelda game? Wait, you only gave a top 10? What happened to your honorable mentions?
Well, number 10 is technically two entries.
Yeah, but like by our standards, that's pretty standard. So
I was trying to be more efficient.
Oh, okay.
I guess number 11 would be Zelda 1, but number 10 is Seasons and Ages.
Okay.
The Game Boy games, both very shorter experiences, but I think they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And when you play them in tandem with each other, you kind of get the full story. And yeah, I just remember them being a lot of fun. I remember when we replayed them, they were a lot of fun. They're kind of just like short games. And every so often, I just kind of think, like, I should play those games. They're fun.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I do believe I have them digitally on like a 3DS somewhere. So definitely something I could pull out and play. Yeah, kind of interesting, fun side Capcom adventures on the handheld. It's okay.
Yeah, they're also on the Switch Online, so.
Are they?
Yep.
Huh. Cool. Okay, well then they are very, very accessible. You have save states. Definitely helps speed up these games too, right? I'd say one of the hang-ups, I find that there's some puzzles in these games that seem like impossible, right? Like these are these weird dungeons where there's like a water level where you have to like raise and lower the water level, and there's 3 different areas, and maybe it's like inside Jabu Jabu. And it's like, how the heck do you solve this? Like, I always find myself in these Oracle games. I'll play for a bit, and I just get completely stuck. Like, absolutely stuck. And it's like, well, you have to go here, and you get to this, hit this ledge, and then you have to throw this pot. And then you have to go to the left. And if you go to the right, it resets everything or something. And I'm like, what? How's this a puzzle? Like, how are you supposed to solve this, right? It always just seems like they're a little bit too... I don't know. Not as fluid. Maybe
they're
it's just
over-designed for sure.
That's it. And like, there's like always little parts where I'm like, oh, there's these stupid spinning puzzles, and I end up just like doing the same thing through a dungeon 4 or 5 times. And I'm like, man, I don't like when I can't beat a dungeon and I can't figure it out, and it's not fun, and I just have to go, oh, okay, what's the strategy? Oh, do it in this sequence. Why would anyone do it that way? I guess. Okay, sure. And then you move on, right? So that'd be my hang up. It didn't make my list, but they were... Yeah, they're probably close to making my list. But no, they did not make my list. But cool, they did make yours. I do, however, we can talk about my number 10 because you don't have it on yours. Zelda 1. It's the original. It's the OG. I like it because it is a fast, short experience. You can now play it on the Nintendo Online, and you can play a mode where it just has all the unlockables. You start it; it has everything you can buy at the beginning. It has 255 coins. It has all of the heart pieces that are available to you. It has a sword upgrade. Just play, go beat the levels. It's fun. You could beat it in like a day or two, kind of just playing a little casually, like on a weekend. Give you that blast of nostalgia. It's probably the best way of playing this game, right? It is the original, and I like that I know the sequence, and I think that's probably what I'm going for, is like how much I played this game. I'm not as familiar with the Oracle games, so they kind of like are daunting. I'm more familiar with the Zelda 1 game, and I can beat most of it without having to look up a walkthrough, right? Maybe there's a point where I'm like, I don't know, wait, which dungeon goes where? What am I missing? But for the most part, fairly straightforward. So that's why I have Zelda 1 at my number 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's the OG, it's the classic, it's what started everything, so it's got to be on the list.
Cool. In terms of story, no story. So, but other than that, it's kind of fun. And you really have to be able to like give yourself into the NES, and like you can only move up and down. There is no directional moving. Ugh. Grid-based movements? That's terrible. It kind of is. It can be. It can be. It can be. Let's move on to what is your number 9?
I got Zelda 2.
Wow. The Adventures of Link. I have that up higher, so we'll talk about it then. My number 9 is Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes, and I got that higher on my list.
Okay.
So we'll talk that a little bit later.
How about number 8? What do you have?
I got Twilight Princess.
Hey, samesies. Cool.
Yeah, good spot for it. I mean, there's a lot of really, really great Zelda games. I think we just covered it. It's a fun game, lots of dialogue, ton to kind of explore and content to do. It's just like the quality of the content in the dungeons aren't super refined.
Yep.
And it feels like they tried to do too much, and they should have just focused on doing a bunch of like everything really well.
I can see a world where they released it just on the GameCube. They didn't screw around with the motion controls. They gave us basically the same experience, minus like, the extra year of development to focus on the actual game. I could see the argument of Twilight Princess going down as like people's favorites, right? The Midna character, I think, is absolutely one of the better characters, maybe in like gaming, right? Especially Nintendo's. Of the characters Nintendo's made in their stories, Midna might be up there with like one of the best Nintendo characters. She's the most full-fledged. She, you see her grow, you feel her pain, you kind of miss the loss, and at the end, like her heartfelt goodbye and that last little like last second, her breaking the mirror and retreating, and that just like that solemnness that you get to sit there and you're just like, oh. So like they never see each other. Like that friendship's just over to protect the realms, to protect their worlds from each other, and it's really tragic. What should have been a great forging of a friendship and this union between these two worlds, and it's torn apart, right? Just for their safety at light of the friendship, right? And what could have been, and it's really sad. It's really tragic. And I think if they would have been a little bit just cleaner, a little bit more refined, they cleaned up a couple things here and there. I could see it being way up there, but I live in the world where it does have motion controls. It's not the most readily accessible. But yeah, people that like love this game, I get it. Like you're probably there for the Midna part of it, because I could almost see like I kind of love Midna, and I'd go back and play it just because you want to help her, right? When she gets sick, you want to help her, and you want to kind of play through the adventure and have that experience with her. So, but being number 8, by no means is that a bad thing. It's just I think every entry above this is a game I find I have a bit more enjoyment in. It may not even be a better game, right? But it's just the enjoyment I get of playing it day to day is going to be greater. So that's why it landed at number 8 on my list.
Yeah. Good game, but there might be some better experiences. Yeah. Number 7 on my list is Tears of the Kingdom.
Hey.
So we can kind of chat about it. So the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Again, it's kind of funny that Twilight Princess and Tears of the Kingdom kind of like hand in hand, because Tears of the Kingdom also kind of has like that whole like underground world kind of thing. Yeah. And even does have like the sky spot. So I feel like it's, there's definitely when I was playing Twilight Princess, I felt like, wow, this kind of feels like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. So when we played Tears of the Kingdom on this game when it came out, or on the podcast when it came out, it was really fun. I think we were having a lot of like we were enjoying it. Still frustrated with like the breakable weapons and everything, but as far as like the experience, I had a lot of fun with it. I remember I both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I just kind of like flew through, and I was like, man, did I even beat those games?
Yeah.
Because I beat them so quickly that I didn't even realize I'd beat them.
Sure.
Or I forgot that I beat them. So
Yeah. I remember. Do I say that I don't? Breath of the Wild does not appear on my list, actually, because I was kind of torn between Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom are essentially, in my mind, kind of the same game, right? It's just kind of the same world. Yeah, you have the depth and you have parts of the sky, but it's just quintessentially kind of the same. But the reason that Tears of the Kingdom did make my list at number 9 was just the upgrades, the crafting, right? I realize it's just kind of like the Fortnite, the Minecraft, crafty world in the open world Zelda games, but I kind of liked it. I thought it was a really good culmination of just open world games slash gaming culture, almost in a kind of fun Zelda package, right? You can kind of, this is what games feel like. It's a great time capsule. The crafting mechanics, some of the end battles, some of like the mechs that you can build at the end. You have motorized cars, and just kind of like the freedom and open world exploringness of it, right? It does feel like the end area, the depths, is a little bit more overpowered than, say, just like the Hyrule Castle of the first game. So that's why I chose Tears of the Kingdom over Breath of the Wild, because playing through the experience, the crafting mechanic is just like next world, right? How it helps you solve puzzles. You can just find a bunch of platforms and you can make giant bridges, and you're like, I'm going to get over this gap. No problem. Make yourself a giant bridge. Now you beat this, right? And it's just that freedom, that rewardability of the open world ness of it. I think Tears of the Kingdom in my mind stands out. And I thought the trials that come up, or what are the shrines that pop up, they were way better in Tears of the Kingdom. There was a lot in Breath of the Wild where I'd walk into them and they'd be like, oh, here you go, fight a guy, get a heart piece. Okay, just repeat that a bunch. Or it's a very specific, knock this lever down. That's what this room is, right? The shrines in my mind definitely seem a bit more refined, a bit more interesting to explore in Tears of the Kingdom, right? And I'd have a bit more fun going into them. Whereas in Breath of the Wild became I just am here for the Master Sword. That's the only reason I'm using the shrines. Once I do that, I probably will never come back. I only need my 13 hearts, right? And then I'll move on. Whereas Tears of the Kingdom, I didn't have that kind of that obligation. Just like, well, I guess I'll just go grind through these shrines, find them. Ugh, man, right? So knowing that there isn't like an end game reward, this great sword hidden behind them, I think kind of helps to just the progression of the world. But anyways, that's why Tears of the Kingdom fell down a little bit. I just felt like the story wasn't there. Sometimes I'm like, meh, I know what the story is. Like Breath of the Wild, I'm like, I'll play it up until I get maybe the Master Sword. I pick up a file that I just got the Master Sword. But then what do? Go beat the dungeons, Ganon, leave? I don't know. It's just the fun factor there. I'm like, meh. So that's why it's at my number 9.
That's fair. That's fair. It's it's not a perfect game for sure.
No.
So,
okay.
But I like what it does.
Sweet.
So.
Number 7, I have Link Between Worlds,
which I don't have on my list.
Yeah,
because I haven't played it. I have a copy. It's sealed, sitting in on a shelf.
Yeah. So Link Between Worlds came out at the same time the HD. Wind Waker came out on the Wii U, so kind of closer to launch there. I got a limited edition 3D the Link Between Worlds 3DS. I still have that. Bought the game, got it at like kind of launch. It's great. It's fun. It's basically a spiritual sequel to Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. Same world. You have kind of a fun wall merging mechanic. You get to explore this whole other Hyrule, Lorule in that game, right? And kind of find the adventures that go on there. I really enjoyed just the freedom. So if you're unaware with this, instead of going to a dungeon and getting an item, there's a guy named Ravio. He has a shop, and you can pay a certain number of rupees to collect items. When you die, he comes and takes all the items away from you. But right off the beginning of the game, if you do enough grinding, you can basically unlock your full arsenal and walk into any dungeon you want with a hammer, with a bow and arrow, with the fire rod, right? And it's just a very... It seems weird, and you're like, well, I don't like the fact that if I die, all my stuff goes away. I've probably played that game a couple times on like hero mode, right, which is like hard mode, no hearts, double damage. I don't think I died. Like if I died, it would be like few and far between, right? If you played A Link to the Past, you could probably figure out this one. It's a pretty solid, fun little world. So yeah, without giving too much away, it's definitely one of those ones I want to play on the podcast. Maybe we get to it before we get to Skyward Sword.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah, cool. Okay. And Tyson has never played, so he doesn't really have much to say. But with that, we'll move on to number 6. And that gets to mine. We'll talk about that. I have Zelda 2 at number 6. I see it appears on your number 9, so that means we can talk about it. Zelda 2. For a while, for the longest time, I said it was my favorite Zelda game. I enjoy how difficult it is. I enjoy the RPG elements. I enjoy kind of the grinding aspect of it. I enjoy the 3 live system. I enjoy the resetting. I enjoy exploring the world. I enjoy the challenges of the Death Mountain and just how brutally difficult it can be, right? That's just me, though. And again, play it on the Switch Online. You could play super mode that just has all your levels maxed out, so you basically just go through the world, collect some heart pieces, find some magic containers, beat the dungeons. You don't have to do any of the extra grinding, any of the those time wasting aspects of it, which makes this game a very, very challenging experience. Again, you have to really like the NES and the difficulty that system brought to the table. But I do think if you can get into it, Zelda 2 becomes a very rewarding experience. And in my mind, it's always just built up. I love grinding. I love a good RPG where I can I'm gonna go fight a rabbit and then be level 5 and have more health. That's just so satisfying. So when you get that in a Zelda experience, people are like, oh, but it's different from the others. But at one point, 50% of the Zelda games ever made were actually RPGs. So what was it? I mean, we never went back to it. So yeah, it was always the weirdo, but there was a chance we could have had some type of RPG growth element with Zelda. And it kind of always makes me wonder, I'm like, how would that play now? Is that something we should do? Right? Should Link be able to grind to get some levels?
I don't know. I had it a little lower on my list. It's a good game. I just think the games have all progressively gotten so good that Zelda 2, while being a good game, is still, it's all right.
Yeah.
I like the RPG system. The exploration is all fun. My biggest knock is I hate dark nuts in that game. They're the bane of everyone's existence, because it's you have this it's poke them right in between the eyes and jump and do this attack, and it's man, this is ridiculous. If people think new games and their parry mechanics are difficult, it's play Zelda 2.
Yeah.
And try to take on multiple dark nuts. It's impossible.
Yeah, you have to work really. There's a specific jump that you have to do. It's a very specific timed jump to get it. When you get down the pattern, you're like, oh, I get it. But yeah, no, I the dark nuts in a couple hallways, I'm like, yeah, they suck there. But again, some save states, some rewinds, you could kind of work your way around it. You would probably enjoy playing Zelda 2 on the Switch Online. Right, because it gives you the creature comforts of the save states. Okay, I'm gonna make a save state here. Oh, I die. Oh, I'll just reset. And you could beat a boss with one hit. Oh, I'll just keep resetting every time he hits me, and eventually you'll win. Oh, okay, you could cheese it that way, right? So until you get into the rhythm and beat it a couple times, it is very challenging. After you do that, it's one of those things where I'm I beat Zelda 2. I've played it. I think I played it once on my Wii and beat it on the virtual console, right? With just the Wiimote as kind of my NES controller. So I was one of the OGs that actually ground it out in that sense, right? Without the save states. So it's an experience, and I guess it stays with you. And I liked it, and I didn't hate it. Hence why it made my list at number 6. Who do you have at number 6?
My number 6, I got Wind Waker.
Ooh, okay.
Which is a little higher on your list.
Yeah, it is. Huh. Sure is.
And then my number 5 is Majora's Mask.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how a couple of these games have fallen in the exact same spots.
Yeah. Huh, fascinating. Majora's Mask. I love Majora's Mask, question mark? Number 5. In my mind, the reason it's knocked down, it could be easily the best Zelda game. I realize that it is a fully fledged 3-day world that it's the thing I'm talking about with new gaming. Majora's Mask was kind of the template of where we should have been going. It's a fully fledged realized world that over the course of 3 days, there's a real time limit. At the end of the day, it's just the game's over and you die. unless you can save, right? Unless you can find the Ocarina of Time. And every time you go through the cycle, you can improve people's lives. But everything kind of resets to that norm. It is the quintessential time travel game. We're not traveling over 7 years trying to change these big chasms. We're literally just focused on time travel, resetting, and ensuring that these 3 days, the final 3 days of the Termina Kingdom, are not disastrous or not end of the world, right? Super fun, awesome reset mechanic. The levels a little bit less, right? Like you only get the 4 dungeons, but because of the interactivity of the world, it makes all the sequences outside of the world almost seem kind of like a dungeon, right? And getting to play through that the very first time. It's got a super interesting, complicated villain, right? In the Skull Kid. The use of the Majora's Mask. It's got cool aesthetics, right? Like the moon coming down, the purple of the Majora's Mask that kind of oozes through the game. Just the fact that they reused a lot of the assets from Ocarina of Time. It's kind of nice to go back and kind of re-see a bunch of those, right? The reason it fell down a little bit is just my hesitancy to pick it up, because it does feel like it's kind of an all or nothing affair, right? You kind of have to pick it up and beat it. I don't think I've ever played Majora's Mask and I'm like, I'll just beat like Snowhead and then leave the game. I'm always like, oh no, now I'm excited to go do the next part. And oh, now that I'm done this, I have to go beat a canyon, right? And I need to unlock this and I need to get all the masks. When I started, I need to kind of complete it, which isn't always the most fun. I kind of sometimes just, I'm like, I'll just play to the end. But I don't know if I could do that with Majora's Mask, right? It's just so much. I have so much enjoyment of collecting all the masks and doing this, and they did a phenomenal job of making all those things fun to play, right? All those fun little areas, but I did push it down because I think the games above this I have more fun with, right? I'd have more of a fun time in reliving, going back to it. So Majora's, that's why you're at my 5. Why is it at your 5?
I mean, I really like it. I dig the soundtrack. I dig the environment. It's a really fun game to just kind of like sink your teeth into. But again, it's one of those games where like, yeah, it's, if I would never pick up a previous save file of this. I would just start fresh every time. And then I get to about the swamp and I'm like, do I really want to do the Snowhead Temple? I don't know. And it's just like, it's a really fun experience to get through it, but you kind of almost need to be in the right mind for it, because it feels like there's a bit going on, and I just have to sit there and like remember, okay, now I got to go there, okay, yeah, I got to do this. It's like I'm constantly second guessing what I need to be doing because there's that ticking clock and it just goes so quick. So
yeah, no, and yeah, that's kind of thing, and it is like the pressure, like it is kind of fun, but sometimes I kind of don't want to play a game that has that extra added time pressure to it. Now, there's a time and a place, and when you do get into it, oh, it's very satisfying. Like, I get that it's super awesome, but it's just that kind of getting to that point, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
No, I get it, because it's just like, it's...
It's such a technical masterpiece with what they created, and it's so it's so deep, and there's so many different layers, and it's so rewarding. And when you think about developing a game like that and having all the elements be timed, right, you have to be here to get this point and this here to this point, you're like, holy smokes, that's difficult to do, right? And really intricate. And when you kind of sit back and you're like, wow. So technically it's a masterpiece, but it is just, yeah, those other parts where you're like, I can't just play this. I can't go to this world and have fun because there is so much to do. And hence why it's a fun list. I made my list fun. Hence why it's 5. Everything else above this, I think I have more fun with. There you go. Number 4, I have Link's Awakening.
I also have Link's Awakening.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting for that. I don't know why there was a hesitation. Were you like shocked by yourself?
Because I wasn't looking at my list. I was like, why are you pausing? I was like, oh, right, because I also have it. It's one of those many games that have just fallen in the exact same spots.
Yeah. Okay. So let's pull off the Band-Aid. Why is it's fun? This game, yeah, technically it may not be the best, but going back into a Link's Awakening, you're at any part of that game, I have absolute fun knowing which part of the world I get to explore next. In Kola Island, right? I'm like, oh, I get to do the little raft section. Excellent, cool. Oh, you're at the 3rd dungeon? Ooh, that's where I get the flippers. I love going and getting the flippers. And you can swim around, and it increases the difficulty. I find that it's just very clean, well thought out world. All the dungeons are super fun. They make lots of sense. There isn't a lot of backtracking. Maybe the greatest getting the bow, the $999 bow is probably like the hardest part of that game. And if you just give yourself patience and know that, yes, as you play the game, you will collect rupees, make sure to save them. Don't waste them on like silly little things. Make sure to find a couple little seashells here and there so you can get your better sword. And then the HD remake is just the single greatest, cutest little chibi plasticine toy game I've ever played. It's a super awesome little world. I actually lent the game to my copy of my HD remake to my nephew, and I think he's lost it. So I'm just going to go and buy another copy. I'm totally fine with that. I love this little game. It's been with us. It was our first ever Game Boy game that we had, right? It was one of the very first video games that we kind of had. It was our first, my first experience into the Zelda world, right? It was kind of getting to beat this with my friends legitimately on the playground back in the day, right? On our Game Boys, and it's just one of those ones. It's a top-notch experience, and like that's just the fun of going back and like playing the crane game and getting Yoshi, right? Every little part of it, I'm just like, it's so well done, it's so well thought together, right? Both versions, the Game Boy or the HD remake, they're all excellent and well thought out.
Yeah, well, if you have never played it, go grab that remake. It's adorable. But I do prefer the old Game Boy soundtrack. That soundtrack, I just sometimes I'm like, I just like that song just like hits in my head. It's so good.
Well, and they even saw just within the same systems. Well, because there was a Game Boy and then we got the Game Boy Color. But on the Game Boy Color, they're like, hey, this Link's Awakening is so good, we're going to make a deluxe edition. So you can rebuy it. We've got new dungeons. We've added colors. The sound is a little bit better, right? And it's just, excellent top to bottom. Every version of this game is awesome. Whether it's an original Game Boy copy. And it's so iconic. There's a Lego Game Boy you can go buy. Guess what one of the games is? You click into it. Link's Awakening. It's super iconic. It was one of the first. And it holds up way better, I think, than Zelda 1, Zelda 2, right? So with that game out there, that's why it's number 4 on my list.
Yeah, so I guess that brings me to my number 3.
Top 3!
And
wow.
That is Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. I do not have that game on my list, so I guess we can talk about it now. Okay.
Yeah. It is... I mean, I have it so high because I think that this game did something... Like, it took what the Switch hardware could do and it pushed it to the limits, but it also was like... it was kind of this... I can't remember, like, many games that had just this, like, cultural moment where it felt like everybody was just, like, talking about it and playing it and discovering it, and it felt like everybody was just enjoying it, and we were all just, like, kids again for a brief moment of time, and just that, like, those memories of that game just really stand out to me. I understand it's flawed and it's frustrating, and you kind of just rush to get through all the shrines so you can go get the Master Sword, or you could try to figure out like how to glitch and try to get into the Master Sword. But I just remember like get lost in the Lost Woods again and just trying to like, what's over this hill, and just having that moment of it in a game where you're just like, okay, well, but I wanted to do what was I doing again? Oh, I was trying to like harvest some boar meat so I could make this recipe, and then you look at the map and you're halfway across the map because you got lost chasing stuff and just random farming, and it's a great way to just spend some time. It's a great game you can just sink hours into, and before you know it, you're just like, a lot of it's done. It's easy to pick up and play. Yeah, it's not perfect, and it could be a little bit better in some ways, but I like how kind of interesting it was. It was a different taste. Yes, the breakable weapons suck, but at the same time, it kind of made you try to be more creative. You can't just rely on just running around mashing everything with a sword. It kind of made every battle a little bit more strategic instead of just being like, oh, okay, there's a moblin, go smash him with a sword, grab his stuff. There's some more moblins, go smash him. It's like, oh, maybe I should run around these guys because I really don't want to like break my 2 good swords that I have, and because I just have some sticks. So you end up kind of like doing some inventory management. It was almost like a survival game based or built on or bolted onto a Zelda game, and I kind of dug it. Wasn't perfect, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, and I like it didn't make my list, but I will only say good things about Breath of the Wild. Incredible shift from where we were, right? From Skyward Sword, if you look at that as like the last main entry, to again, Link Between Worlds came out, and I was like, I think Zelda still got it, baby. To them dropping Breath of the Wild in our lives, kind of at the end of the Wii U cycle there, at the start of the Switch, and it was just that incredible. It really felt like it was the next step in gaming. I was like, I understand why they move away from the Switch, or the Wii U into the Switch, right? If this is kind of the experience we're getting. It's big, it's grand, it's vast. Like the hours and hours that I had playing in this world, and just the fun that you can kind of have, right? The different builds, whether you go more stamina, so you can climb everywhere, to whether you want more hearts, to how you build and craft items. Everything was just super fun and intricate. Now I do think that Tears of the Kingdom, I think with like the little things like the fusing system, the ability to jump, what's it called? Elevate or whatever it is in Tears of the Kingdom, single-handedly, I think makes that game a bit more enjoyable to me. So if you're walking, you want to climb up a mountain, you can like find an undercroft, ascend, and like fly up through the mountain, saving yourself minutes and minutes and minutes of climbing, right? So it's like those creature comforts that I think I like more. And again, I think it'd be more fun. Going back to Breath of the Wild, though, would feel like a real test of merit. Can you survive in this wild? Right, literally, it's called Breath of the Wild. It feels like Hyrule is the wilderness, and you stepping into it, your survival isn't granted, right? And the magical dragons that you can find randomly in the wild, it just always seems like there's always new obstacles, challenges, things to discover. So if you're going for just pound for pound, what's the best exploration adventure game? Easily, Breath of the Wild would probably be up there, right? So I understand why it's up there, and it's cool that you like that. For my mind, I'm just more of a retro gamer. I'm always comfort. If I have a choice, like randomly I have no games to play and I'm out of games, and I'm like, well, I could play a new game, or I could just play through Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy VI for fun. So that's what I'm doing. So I think that's just kind of more in line with how I would rank games. But no, by no means is Breath of the Wild a bad experience. It's great. It's awesome. It's probably more challenging, actually, than Tears of the Kingdom. So it's kind of like if you like more of a difficulty, like more of the Dark Souls effect, maybe Breath of the Wild speaks to you even a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And the first time you see a Lionel charging at you, you're like, the panic sets in.
Fury swipes, and his health bar doesn't change, and you're like, okay, huh, sucks.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3, I have A Link to the Past, but that's a little higher up on your list, so let's talk about it then. Who do you have at number 2?
It is. I got Link to the Past. So most people know this is one of my favorite Zelda games. Usually flip-flops between this and my number one. It's so like memorable. This just is nostalgia. I'm gonna say it again. The soundtrack. It's just like the atmosphere. Like the first time going to that castle, you're just like, just takes me back. Just absolutely zaps me back. And I've played this game so much that you can almost do it blindfolded in a way, because you almost like before you even walk into the next room, you're like, I know that there's going to be an enemy here and here. So it's a lot of fun. It's so good. It's great world, cool weapons, awesome dungeons, great things to explore. It felt like you were always uncovering things. You never got like all the weapons were just sitting in some random chest in a dungeon. Sometimes you came across them in the world. Sometimes you came across them by like completing some tasks. Sometimes you got them by like doing a quest for somebody. It just was so varied and created such a cool, unique like world that you just got lost into. It's a perfect game. It's so good.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I played every single year as part of the NHL trade deadline, as part of my annual tradition. I eat some little Timbits because I'm a good little Canadian. Have my donuts, watch hockey, play A Link to the Past. Phenomenal, top-notch, one of the best 2D games of all time, right? In terms of RPGs. You look at the Super Nintendo and everyone's like, the best games, like I said, Final Fantasy VI. So many RPGs come from that. I think Link to the Past is just kind of like better? What if instead of stupid time-based grinding, you were just the swordsman and you went around the world, right? Super fun, super clean, awesome, realized world. The Super Nintendo at its height of its power. Nintendo released this game in 1991, like a year or two into the system's life, and you just can't beat it, right? It's one of the better games you've ever made, and they knock it out of the park, right? Again, they took the new hardware, they took the Zelda formula, and they kind of complemented and created this amazing, amazing experience, which holds up 30, no, 20, 30, 35, 36 years later. Wow, good for them. So still solid today. Yeah, number 3 on my list. I think the other 2 entries I just like better. I think maybe they do a little bit more. Maybe they could flip flop too. I think maybe my 3 and 2 could probably flip flop day to day. But yeah, in terms of just clean, awesome, excellent game play, game making, game craftsmanship, it is this world. It's an easy world to get lost on, and I understand that this is probably the thing that made the Zelda series as big as it was, right? If it was just Zelda 1, Zelda 2, those games don't add a lot to the mythology, but this is where you start getting just tons of lore dumps, see all the characters, and kind of have fun watching it grow, right? So yeah, Link to the Past, that's why you're my number 3. Cool.
Yes.
Let's do,
yes.
Yeah. My number 2 is, because that was your number 2, is Ocarina of Time, but it's higher up on your list, so we'll talk about it then. So, do you want to do a recap or talk about our top games? There's only 2 left.
Let's run through it. Let's run through it. We have people always get lost in these darn things, or at least I know I do. So, my number 10, Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Zelda 2, Twilight Princess. Number 7, Tears of the Kingdom. Number 6, Wind Waker. Number 5, Majora's Mask. Number 4, Link's Awakening. Number 3, Breath of the Wild. Number 2, Link to the Past.
With only 1 game left. And then we'll jump to my list. So I got number 10, I've got Zelda 1. At number 9, I have Tears of the Kingdom. At 8, we see Twilight Princess. 7 is Link Between Worlds. 6 is Zelda 2. 5, Majora's Mask. Number 4, just like Tyson, Link's Awakening. At number 3, we see Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. That leaves 2 of my entries. Tyson only has 1 more, so he's talked. My number 1 is lower on his list, and his number 1 is probably my number 2, because my number 2 is Ocarina of Time. And if I look up on Tyson's list, oh baby, he's got that game up there, firmly described as one of the best games of all time. It is the Nintendo's first entry into the 3D world after Super Mario World with one of their main iconic franchises, and they blew it out of the water. It was the very first 3D adventure game. It gave us this mechanic called Z targeting, which helped you kind of move around the world and get involved with combat, hit targets, solve puzzles, and it just broke the game. We still use it today, people. When it came out 1998, which was 28 years ago, it basically created this whole system that we still use today, right? So Ocarina of Time, legendary, incredible, iconic. It was a game you kind of had to be there for, right? This is like right in our sweet wheelhouse where we're free time millionaires. We got our N64. We're getting Ocarina of Time with all our friends, and we got to be involved with one of the best games ever made. You know, it's one of those things I think about, not that I'm a main character in the story whatsoever, but oh baby, if you ever had to like pick a time and you could and you knew history and you loved video games, our childhood was pretty damn good. Because like nowadays you could play everything, but for the most part new games suck. You know, and at some point you're gonna grow up and you're like, man, I really was into like Tamagotchi life on the Switch 2. That sucks because that game's terrible. What a waste of time. Or like played lots of Animal Crossing. What have you done with your life? You know, like, I mean, it's fine. It's a fun time use. But we got to be kids, we get to brag and we get to say that we got to be in on the ground floor of Ocarina of Time. When our young minds were developing, we were just learning about video games. We got to sit down with one of the finest. And today, I still see this posted all over the place. People are like, new YouTubers, guys in their 18-year-olds are like, man, is Ocarina of Time the best game ever? I just played it for the very first time, right? It's still having those moments. That does not happen after this. No one plays Twilight Princess and are like blown away and they're like, what a sad ending in a video game, right? Because it's just so common. So it is one of those, it's just the scale, the grandness of Ocarina of Time almost can't be as understated by today's standards. So us, part of the reasons we're doing this is we're old we've played video games for most of our lives. We love video games. And I kind of want to do like a bit of a history of these games. So to be able to come back to Ocarina of Time after all this time and say, it's phenomenal. And even if you look at how we talked about this, Tyson, you want to say something? I've talked for a while. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just really, really good. It's probably the best game of all time.
Yeah. Well, just think of how we structured our shows, right? So we've now done a couple retrospectives. We just finished Twilight Princess. We did Wind Waker. We've done Majora. We've done Ocarina of Time. In my mind, Ocarina of Time is just, that retrospective was super tight, super clean, and it was like perfect because it's just such a perfect game to talk about. Versus everything else gets a little bit messier, right? Like even the Twilight Princess, I was like, I don't know how these things are structured. Why are we playing it in parts? Other than talking about it for a little bit longer, I guess, right? Breaking some individual stuff down. But yeah, just there's so much, the themes, the story, the music, the sound, the visuals, the design, the care, the thought, the level of love and compassion, and just experience. Everything is just kind of like the best version of itself in Ocarina of Time. And even though we've talked about it a couple years ago, I've gone back and played it recently. I probably played it once every other year, if not that, right? Pick up a randomizer or something like that. It's just such a fun world that I can kind of get back into. And it's just so iconic, right? That's just the best way of describing Ocarina of Time. And I'm glad that it's stood the test of time, right? And new people are coming back to this experience and being like, man, this is awesome. Imagine if you got this when you were a kid. I don't have to imagine, because it happened to me. That was me. I lived the blessed life.
Yeah, it's like I said, a perfect game. If people haven't played it, I'm just baffled.
Yeah.
Like, please do yourself a favor, just go play it. It's so good.
Yeah, and it's one of those, like, how do you beat it? How do you beat it? What kind of insane person would say anything is better than Ocarina of Time? I'm insane, because my number one game, Tyson mentioned it as his number 6. My number 1 is The Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker.
Yes, I am fascinated to hear why you put this as number 1.
Because of how cute Link is. I don't want to make it as simple as that, but really, like, when you kind of get reductive down to it, is it as simple as that? No, it's kind of the presentation. It is the grandness, the scale of the world, right? It makes you feel like you're on this big high sea adventure. I do enjoy the sailing mechanics. I enjoy the design of this game. I think the cell shadedness is just single-handedly, it looks beautiful. Like, it was one of those things, it is timeless. It looks like it could be released today versus if it was released in 2004, right? It's 22 years of just absolute perfection in imaging, and you will nothing realistic. Oh, look at the hair physics in water. No, water should be this big blue blob with little ripples representing waves. That's all you need. It's great. It's clean. I love the story. I love the adventure, and I enjoy how the story between, I think Ganon is the most compelling villain in Wind Waker. So why is it my favorite? Because I do enjoy a good story, and usually a narrative comes with a good antagonist, right? And I think Wind Waker's Ganon is by far the most compelling, imposing, threatening antagonist that we see, from his early introductions at Forbidden Fortress, right? You kind of see him early on as this kind of shadow presence. You feel his evilness across the land, right? His evil touch has kind of crept up from beneath the waves of the ocean and started to infect the Great Sea. And it's kind of up to solve him, right? And save him and fight against him. And as we unlock the old mystery of the past and find out what happened to Hyrule and uncover this kind of great grand mystery, just his overwhelming presence, right? And I kind of said at the end, you kind of get to the point where you're on a underwater tower standing with Ganon, and he's just looking out in the ocean, and he's just like, all I wanted was wind that would bring my land prosperity, not cause my people death. Like when the sun came to my land, it killed my people. It was a hard life. All I wanted was just the vast fortune that Hyrule Kingdom had to share with my people, right? And he just feels like he's just such a deeper, darker, better character, that you see anywhere throughout, because he's not just like, oh, he's the bad guy, blah blah blah. I think he has a lot more depth, and he's just more interesting. And the conversation you can have about the sacrifice of the King of Red Lion at the end, of saying, no, we're going to destroy the old ways are dead, right? Let's burn the past. Let's fill in old Hyrule. It's dead. Release the curse on this kingdom. The Great Sea is kind of the next area, and just the level of change and high concept narration that you get from Wind Waker that I don't really see in any other experience, right? Everything is weighed down via motion controls or the inclusion of some forced motion controls, right? And say like the Twilight Princess, or we're just working on such a big world in like the Breath of the Wild, and not focusing so much on story. So I think in terms of like a narrative, just Wind Waker does something. I think it's the combination of the cell shadedness, kind of the exploration that you get, as well as just the narrative and kind of the Ganon presence throughout the game, that makes it my number one experience. So why is it your number 6?
I mean, I think it's a good game, a little shallow. It's the sailing's fun for about 5 minutes, and then I'm just like, can I get an elastic band to hold this joystick this way so I can go get a coffee or go do something for 5 minutes while I'm trying to sail halfway around the world? I feel like it just does a lot of wasting my time. Yeah. And I never get, but that being said, it's like, it's cool. It's fun. There's like, when you are sailing and you come across some stuff, like you're like, oh, cool. Let's go check it out. And you can go, it makes you feel like a little bit like a pirate. Like you're like, it's a Zelda pirate game. I'm not crazy about pirates, and I'm not really crazy about sailing. I know there's a new, or a remake of an Assassin's Creed game, and everybody's like, oh, it's the best one. And it's like, it's not even in my top 5 favorites. So I feel like I'm just not a sailor.
Okay.
It's like the area doesn't really like I don't really love it. And then the story is a little bit like, I feel like disjointed, but it is what it is. I feel like I just get super distracted because I'm just like constantly not. It's more about like massive exploration and enjoying your time, taking in and enjoying it. And for me, it's just like the pacing's just not quick enough for it to really like get its teeth into me. It's still a great game, and it has lots of like fun things to explore and everything. But it's just the sailing and not enough dungeons, and it just feels like I just want more content. And I know when we replayed it, I was kind of just like, so we go here, we grab this thing, we go there, grab that thing, and then we're just like done this whole section. And it's like, yeah, but there's other things you can do while you're doing it. But I felt like I was a little bit more just like going through the motions of playing that game, as opposed to really letting it enjoy it and really enjoy it. So, but I feel like I'm more of a me thing, and just a personal preference. Like, I know it's fun, but it's never been that the Zelda game I go and I play. Like, I know when they released the Zelda Switch, or the Nintendo Switch Online and the GameCube games, and I was like, oh, cool, Wind Waker. And I was like waiting. They're like, those are our 3 games. Yeah. And like, wait, you're not going to give me Twilight Princess? I was just like heartbroken, because it's just like, it's not the one it's not the one for me.
That's fair.
So it's I'm glad, but I'm glad that you enjoy it, and I know you've loved it, because you, even when we were kids and you got your GameCube and you played Wind Waker, like I didn't even play half of Wind Waker, and I remember you beating it. And I remember like the whole like final Ganon scene, and I was like, well, this is pretty epic, actually. Like, it's cool that you're actually like, the climax of that game is worth the price of admission in a way. So.
Well, and that's exactly, it's that final end piece. I love the Ganon inclusions in the story, and then there's just like, a couple pieces. I love going to this island. I love checking this out. I love kind of doing that. I love that, and honestly, it feels really solid. And I think that's one of my biggest gripes of playing Wind Waker into, like, say, Twilight Princess, is Link is so fluid, and when you roll it, he has such a good movement to him. It's such a fluid movement, right? And you understand his agility. Whereas in Twilight Princess, sometimes I fell off cliffs sometimes because I'd be like, oh, I'm at the cliff and I go to turn around and then me pressing back somehow made me move forward and I fell off the cliff and I'm like hanging onto the ledge. I'm like, what? It just never seemed like the movements were as in tuned, right? And it's just some of those limitations. But yeah, no, it is personal preference. It was my first system I ever bought. I had money, went and bought myself a GameCube, got myself Mario Golf World Tour for the GameCube and Wind Waker, and I love both those games. In my mind, they are like some of the pinnacle of gaming. I don't know if gaming's ever looked so good as it did on those systems. It never felt so good when you had that GameCube controller in your hand, and yeah, it's just one of those things that stayed with me. And looking back on it, I think it's the narrative. I really enjoy kind of this what if. Right after Ocarina of Time, this happened, and this is the story they tell. And like a kingdom frozen in time under a great sea is a very, very cool fantasy setting. And doing a lot of the work in that game and getting to see the out of bounds, and they're like, look, literally Hyrule Castle is 10 feet under the surface, right? Like the very top peak is only 10 to 50, and you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of the scope of the ocean. Oh, cool, neat. Right, and just the intrigue and like the magic that kind of sea has. It's one of those things. I don't know. I just want to explore it again, and I think lots of it's the visual and the narrative. Right, just kind of stay with me and stick with me, and that's why it's my number one. So
yeah, no, it's a good time. Hopefully everybody enjoyed our list.
Yeah.
If you want, leave a comment of your list in the. Maybe in the comment section or something. We'll read it. That's probably the best way of getting a hold of us is leaving a comment on YouTube.
And like, unless you're old and you're like commenting, Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild, are those people's favorite Zelda games? Like how different from our lists are other lists? I don't know. I haven't like pulled up top 10 lists, I guess, in a while. Or looked at them. Yeah. And I mean, I think some of them are so old too, right? Like lots of the ones that I'd be familiar with. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. A ranking of Zelda. Ocarina of Time is probably just like the default best, right?
It's kind of yeah. Well, the other thing is supposedly there's a rumor going around that we're getting a Legend of Zelda HD remake at the end of the year.
Okay. Which one?
Ocarina of Time.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Supposedly that's been rumbled. And I'm like, I will believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
But Nintendo does do weird things. Yes. Like decide on the art direction of the new Star Fox game.
Yeah.
They sometimes are making interesting choices over there.
Like you don't like it? Or you're like, it looks too...
I hate it.
Oh, okay.
It's awful.
Oh, okay.
That is... It looks like bad AI. I saw that and I was like, this is a joke, right? This is somebody just like made some gross AI like rendition of everything. And it's like, oh no, this is the art design that they chose. Oh no. Did they just fire all the art all the art people and we're just like
okay. Yeah, he just looks like he does in like Mario Galaxy, the movie.
Oh, see, and I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like it looks awful. Like I'm like that. This is horrendous. This is AI.
I mean,
gobbledygook.
In all fairness, you never see the characters outside their ships. You just see the back of a ship. So I'm sure it's fine.
I don't know. If you look at the screenshots, there's a lot of cursed images. My God.
I guarantee you don't see the characters for like more than 5% of the game.
I don't know. Every time it looks like there's a speech bubble, their heads sitting there looking horrendous. So I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm like, you know what, Nintendo? I feel like you guys gotta stop drinking the AI Kool-Aid. I mean, this is so AI inspired. It's disgusting.
I mean, I guess I argued that Wind Waker is my favorite game because I think Link looks the cutest. So who am I to? Someone's judging something for how something looks. Who am I to say? Anyways, with that, that wraps up our look. Hold on, let me just pull up the spreadsheet. We're looking at another Zelda game again this year. No, that's it. We played obviously a lot of them. We played Twilight Princess. We talked about all of our favorite Zelda games and our top 10 list, and that's kind of it. I think we're gonna look at probably I think, A Link Between Worlds next year. And then we'll see where we're at in the podcast. And maybe we never get to Skyward Sword, which would be okay in my mind. Hooray.
Yeah, yeah. So look forward to it. We got a bunch of excellent games on the docket, and should be a good year.
Yeah. With that, we'll say bye, get out of here, and see you guys in a couple weeks. We're playing a numbered show. We're playing an RPG on the GameCube. Should be fun.
Yeah, yeah. Gonna be a good time.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Bye.
See you.